Own your worth. Be so confident in your words, in your actions, in your value, that nobody can say anything to you. That every time you do something, you have a clear reason for it. Be so confident in yourself that no matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone does, if someone betrays you, if someone talks badly about you, if someone turns their back on you, if someone goes against you, be so confident in yourself that it doesn't even matter to you because you know your worth, you know what you bring. So you don't need to prove yourself to other people. You don't need to prove your value, what you bring to the table, you, what you do, your personality, no matter what anyone says. I used to be a people pleaser basically majority of my life up until the age of, I would say, 16 or 15, but really if we're talking specifically, like when I actually like stopped being a people pleaser or like tried to like get out of that, people pleaser identity, um basically it was around the age 16. I'm 18 now, and I can say confidently that I'm no longer a people pleaser because I lived that way for a long time and it was exhausting. I was constantly putting people before me, before my worth. I was constantly proving myself a lot to the people around me, to those closest to me as well, for no reason whatsoever, even though I've always been a truthful person. I've always had good character, I would say. And I'm confident in that, and I'm so sure of that, even as a child. But even back then, I was proving myself to people that didn't even believe me. And it got to a point where I was, I was getting miserable. Yeah, I was getting drained mentally. And, it was getting to a point where I was going against myself. I was going against the one person that has my back at all times, 100%. That's the only person that will be there for me, and that is myself. It all starts with one small action. It all starts with a simple no. A simple no, even when you're trembling, even when your voice is shaking whilst you say it. A simple no holds value. It holds volume as well. It speaks. A simple word, two-letter word, is so powerful because it shows you and it shows the people around you that you are in control of yourself. That you are the only person that can dictate what happens in your life, who you surround yourself with, what anyone says to you, what boundaries you are allowing to be crossed and not crossed whenever people cross your boundaries. A simple two-letter word is so immensely powerful. I've been asked this question a lot of times, which is, you know, by people that are people pleasers and they're too scared to, set boundaries, or they're so much of a people pleaser that, they're just trying to be friends with everyone, trying to agree with everyone, trying to, be on everyone's good side and do favors for people, and in the process going against yourself and disrespecting yourself in the process. I always get asked this, like, how do I set boundaries? How do I stop being a people pleaser? Because I don't even like that about myself. That's something that, I've been told or I've been asked. I've heard that quite a lot. And genuinely, if I were to say it in simple terms, is to just start with one action. Because I'm telling you, I used to be one of the biggest people pleasers ever, right? And that got me nowhere. That got me feeling miserable. That got my self-esteem literally so low that I couldn't even see it. it got me so insecure. I had no confidence in myself or in my abilities, and I was doubting myself a lot, doubting my intuition, doubting my worth, doubting my self-worth, and being in friendships that didn't serve me, that were disrespecting me as well, evidently disrespecting me, and I just felt so invisible in those friendship groups until I took myself out of that. The first step is to get yourself out of that comfort zone that you've been living in your entire life, because I'm telling you, your body only knows one thing, but you know your subconscious mind doesn't know, right? Like you can tell it a completely different thing, even if it's not actually your identity, and it starts to believe it. Or whenever you start to build a habit, your body is like, oh, this is scary, it's kind of like it goes in like kind of fight or flight mode. I messed the two words up. It goes in fight or flight mode. So it's like the body doesn't like uncertainty, right? It likes, you know, things to be at a steady, comfortable pace. So when you change something about your routine or you start a new habit, for example, let's say you're slacking off exercising or you haven't worked out in a really long time. The first time or when you go back to working out, right? Your body at the beginning, at the first stage at least, um, at the first interval stage, I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll go with it. Basically, at the first stage, it's like, oh no, this is so painful. I'm so tired. It kind of like makes you think that you want to stop because this is so hard, but it's actually your body getting stronger. Like you think that you're getting weaker because you haven't worked out in a long time, but it's actually the opposite. Your body is getting stronger instead, to the point where it actually makes you feel weak because you haven't obviously worked out those muscles in a really long time. You haven't properly like exercised. You know what I mean? That's just one example. The same thing when you're in a toxic relationship, you're in a toxic friendship, right? You're going to keep attracting those same toxic people unless you stop that cycle, unless you stop going after those toxic people, unless you stop letting those people into your life, right? Unless you say no, unless you completely remove them out of your life. And it doesn't have to be brutal, it can be respectful, but in a way that, you know, lets them know that like you're not going to cross my boundaries again. And if you do cross my boundaries after you've disrespected me X, Y, and Z times, and I've just, lived with it and I've dealt with it all these years, all these months, or whatever, and I've just like not said anything. You don't need to wait, right? There isn't a certain time frame or a certain um time to set boundaries, right? Like just because, like for example, someone says something that upsets you, someone does something that upsets you, you don't have to wait 3 days and then tell them. That's something that I used to do, and that's something that I'm working on myself. But genuinely, like, there's no point. Like, why wait? Like, what's that gonna do? You're only gonna overthink it, because the more you wait to set a boundary with someone, the more you overthink it, and the more you forget it. And then it's almost like you have to remember to set that boundary. But how do you remember that is when they cross that boundary again. So you don't want to get to that stage of having to wait and then remembering, forgetting to set a boundary and then remembering to set a boundary after they've crossed it, the second time or the third time or the, zillionth time. I always like to actively, like, obviously, like, not all the time, and I'm not that active with it, but I like to get myself out of my comfort zone in terms of like routine. For example, if I don't want to do something, if I don't feel like doing something, I do it anyway. Or for example, I know I'm in a, for example, let's say when I was in like toxic relationships, right? um what my body knew was based on the experiences that I had, so that's the only thing that my body knew. It doesn't know anything else. But your subconscious mind, you can develop a new identity just by affirming it to yourself and by, basically faking it till you make it, right? Embodying this identity, even if you've never identified as this type of person. Like I said, with the working out, if you identify as a person who works out, then you'll be a person that works. If you identify as a person that wakes up early and then you match that with actions and habits, then you become that person, right? It's just the first stage. Your body is like, oh, this is scary. I don't know. I don't know what this is. This is kind of new. But you just have to live through that stage and experience that stage and know that this is just the first stage to get over it and to actually grow as a person. Because when you're stuck in that comfort zone of like being a people pleaser, staying in toxic relationships, friendships, whatever it is, staying in places that don't serve you, that don't bring you peace, constantly self-sabotaging, right? You don't grow if you don't get yourself out of that, comfort zone, which is befriending people that are toxic, that are bad for you, that don't respect you, that don't see your 100% value, right? And that don't treat you in the way that you deserve. So the easiest step, right? And I would say the simplest step to get out of your comfort zone is to, when someone cross your boundary, say it and do it right then and there. Say, why did you say that? What makes you think you can say that? I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? I'm not sure I understood what you meant. Put people in their place. Clock them. And that's how you can get people to actually respect you. People don't respect nice people, right? There's a difference between nice and kind. The difference between nice and kind is nice people, they are people pleasers. They get stepped on, they get stepped over. A lot of people describe them as nice people, but when they're describing them as that, they're most likely the people that are benefiting from that niceness. People don't describe people as nice people if they're not people pleasers. If they're not people pleasers, they'll say, oh, they're really kind. Nice is kind of like, in my eyes at least, and I feel like in a lot of people's eyes as well, because this is not just about me, this is not just my personal bias. I feel like this is with a lot of people. They think this way because there's a clear difference between nice and kind, right? Nice people are often, get, trodden on, people pleasers. They're constantly seeking for people's validations and, constantly like looking for that approval in other people and trying to be friends with everyone, right? That is a nice person, but you don't want to identify as a nice person, because when you're nice, a lot of people can get away with that niceness by you being nice to them after they disrespect you, or in the process of disrespecting you. They're like, oh, they're so nice. When even if that person that's saying that, oh, you're so nice, are absolutely completely like stepping over you and benefiting from you being a people pleaser to them. So yeah, I went on a completely different tangent. So just to like summarize like the whole point that I'm trying to give, right? Like I said, I always try to get myself out of my comfort zone. So if there's something that I don't like, and usually in the past, I would wait a few days, or I wouldn't defend myself after someone disrespects me in front of my face or on text. An example that I would like to give that I have done, and that I did scared, right? The thing is, with most people, they feel like they have to run away from the fear. No, you run with the fear. You embody the fear. Okay, that's the only way you can get past that fear, is if you actually go straight through it, if you actually experience the fear, because it doesn't become scary anymore. Obviously, when you're a person that has people pleasing tendencies, or it's like the first time you defending yourself to a group of people, no matter what age they are, no matter their relation to you, if they're relatives, if they're friends, if they're strangers, right? If they disrespect you and it's the first time you like defending yourself and standing by your word, right? After they said something, you know, you know, completely ludicrous, you defend it. I remember one time I did that. Obviously, it wasn't just one time. I've done it a lot. I've done it loads of times. But I remember one time I did it and I didn't want to do it. But you know when it gets to the point where people disrespect you so much that like it's like it just comes out of you without you controlling it. It's like, you know what? My body has endured so much. I've gone through the same cycle so many times to the point where I've memorized it. I've memorized the script to the point where my body is physically aching from it, and I'm so drained from this behavior that I'm constantly experiencing and not doing anything about. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to defend myself. I don't care where it is. I don't care who it is. I'm defending myself. If someone has wronged me in any way, or if someone has disrespected me, or has said, I don't know, horrible things about not even just me. I'm a person, I've always been a defender at heart. And a lot of people in my life know this. And I've always been that defender where I defend other people. So, for example, if someone is backbiting other people, for example, I don't know, someone is disrespecting my friend, someone is going after a relative of mine, right? Or whoever it is, someone that is close to me or someone that I care about, not necessarily care about, because it's like, why are you talking badly about them? Why are you talking about behind their back and gossiping about them? So I've always been a natural defender at heart. So it's like my body, it's like a sixth sense that I have. My body instantly goes into defensive mode, but not to the point where I'm disrespectful and irrational and I'm just, acting out of emotion and not rationale. No, I'm always rational. I always get to the point. My voice is firm. But in that case, my voice was shaky. My voice was actually physically shaking. My body was shaking, and my voice was full on trembling. I'm not even joking. I wish I was lying, but I'm not joking. But this is what makes it more powerful. This is what makes the phrase to jump in with the fear, to live with the fear, to go after, run after the fear, not run away from it, to embody the fear. That's a literal example of that. And I remember someone said something that it was like, you know what? Like I can't deal with this anymore, because it was a subject that I was very passionate about and it was very dear to my heart. And the person that was, and it was not just a person. The people that were, bashing this subject or bashing this thing. I don't want to get into the specifics because I'm just giving an example here, but this did happen, right? Um, when these people were bashing this thing that is so dear to my heart and I'm so sensitive about, and I heard it so much to the point where I was actually getting sick and tired of hearing it. So it was like, you know what? This is the last time I'm going to hear this. This is the last time I'm going to let someone say this, because I've heard it for way too long now. And the thing is, it doesn't need to get to that level. But obviously, like, it's it's not unusual for me to prolong it or to delay it or to experience it or to endure it more than I should, or more than I should, more than what's in my capacity, right? Um, but I'm getting better at it. But I'm the type of person who doesn't clock people straight away, or like when someone disrespects me, it's like it takes a long time for me to like get upset at someone or like turn cold. It takes a lot, and it's taken me years. It's taken me years, and I'm talking about past tense as well. But this is like just to show you, like it takes a lot for me to turn cold or to like actually like dislike someone so much that I don't want to see their face. It takes a lot for me emotionally. It takes a lot for me physically. It takes a lot for me mentally. And it takes a lot in terms of duration as well. It takes months, years, whatever. Also depending on the person. If it's like someone that is closest to me or like a relative of some sort, or like it takes a long time. But if it's like a friend, for example, it's easy for me to like take a friend out of my life if they've constantly like times and times again like disrespected me and like crossed my boundaries after I've set them as well, and not respected me and stuff, right? It's very easy for me to, obviously it's not easy, but it's a lot easier for me to take a friend out of my life, because it's like at the end of the day, um they're strangers. You know what I mean? Like obviously they were my friends or they were my best friend or someone that I was close to, but it's harder for me to take someone out of my life that is like a relative, And I'm not talking about obviously what's within my family circle, like my parents or my siblings, and I'm talking about cousins, I'm talking about people of that kind of, I don't know, that area, right? It takes a lot for me to like actually dislike someone. It takes me dealing with a lot of, you know, slander, dealing with a lot of disrespect, dealing with a lot, of like just negative energies. It takes a lot, right? To like get to that level. It's really hard for me to get to that level, especially with like family, um or like relatives. With friends it's kind of like easier because it's like at the end of the day I'm not that affected by it. If I've reached that level of like people disrespecting me time and time again. But just going back to the whole like what I was saying of like getting out of your comfort zone, I'm telling you guys, you don't think about it. The more you think, because I'm an overthinker and I'm trying to like be less of an overthinker, but the thing is I'm an overthinker with obviously past people tendencies. Like I was a I was a people pleaser. Um and I would love to say that I don't have those tendencies anymore, but because that would be lying to myself, right? I am going to be honest on this channel, and this podcast is all about authenticity and vulnerability. So I don't care that I even like say like, oh, I have people pleasing tendencies, but it's not like I act on it, right? Sometimes I've acted on it and then I've realized it. I've realized after making that mistake or stepping into that tendency, um, that this is an identity that I don't identify as anymore, and that I don't want to associate with, and I don't want to be. Um, but obviously it takes time. It takes a lot of time, patience. It takes strength. It takes learning and growing and making mistakes time and time again, learning and relearning. So yeah, it doesn't go straight away, right? And it's like specifically if I'm talking personally here, it doesn't go straight away, and it hasn't gone straight away for me. It's slowly drifting away. The more I age, the more experiences I have, the more I'm tested with friendships. The more because I've experienced it so much, being disrespected and like, dealing with like toxic people, or dealing with like um people that are difficult to deal with, or like, just negative people in general. Um like it's like I've memorized that type of person. So like instantly when someone acts that way, it's like, oh, this is my intuition speaking, saying that this is someone that I've experienced before, that I cut off because of how toxic they were. Look, look at the signs. And I'm someone that is highly intuitive, like very, very intuitive. I think my intuition is one of my biggest traits that I have, like my most highest traits, because I have such high intuition. And the amount of times I've been against my intuition and I've been right, it's actually insane. Like, the amount of times that I've gone against my intuition just because my friend or someone said that, like, oh no, you're being dramatic, oh you're crazy, oh no, you're making stuff up, oh you're lying, you're dramatic or whatever, or you're going insane, you're crazy. And then literally like 99% of the times I went against my intuition, I realized that I should have actually listened to my gut, listened to my intuition, because in the end, who turned out to be right about that person, about that thing, right? About that assumption, this intuition feeling, this obviously it's not right all the time. I'm not perfect. I'm not a superhero. I'm not some kind of, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, but like the amount of times when I went against my intuition is actually crazy. But I've learned that lesson, because I would rather suffer the loss of um believing in my intuition and doing something because I had a gut feeling, rather than going against my intuition. Because I'm telling you, 99% of the time my intuition is right. So yeah. So it's like when I feel some type of way about someone, and I'm a high feeler as well. I feel a lot. Um, so it's crazy because when I did the MBTI test, my MBTI is INFJ/T. So it's like introvert, um, feeling, I think I'm pretty sure, feeling and judging traits slash T. I forgot what the T stands for. I think turbulent. Um, I think there's A, like it's like T or A, I'm pretty sure. If someone correct me in the comments. Um, but it's so accurate, because I think on my MBTI test, if I'm trying to remember, I think it came out 81% intuitive. And I've always like praised myself with like my high intuition, and even my friends like praise me with it, like, Philo, you have such high intuition, like it's actually insane, like you like. And there will be the same people that will call me crazy after like having certain experiences, or like saying to them, oh, I feel some type of way about this person, I have a bad feeling about this person. And then they're like, oh, you're crazy. And then literally like not even like a few days later, or like, a few experiences later, I have an experience where it's like, yeah, I was right. You see, like I was right. Like, what are you gonna do about it now? You know, I'm obviously not gonna act like my intuition is right all the time, because that's not realistic, right? I'm just a human being, you know. I don't have these like, I don't know, like these godly sent like features in me. At least I don't think. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That would be absurd to say, because I'm a human being. I was created to make mistakes and stuff. No, no, no. Forget what I said. But this just goes with the topic of like owning your worth and just being so confident in yourself and your decisions. And I'm the type of person that is so confident in my decisions. For example, I'm the type of person that has such high confidence and assurance in my decision. I don't act a certain way without there being a reason to it. For example, someone wrongs me, someone disrespects me, someone wrongs me time and time again, and I act a certain way, or I bring something up, or I clock someone, right? Or I mention something that they did that was rude or disrespectful after, I don't know, they try to disrespect me or treat me in a way that wasn't fair, and then I clock them, I bring the evidence, right? I'm the type of person that that just there's always like evidence, evidence, evidence. And my family used to joke a lot, like, of like me being a lawyer, like, oh, you should be a lawyer. Obviously, like, I always used to like think about it, like, what if I actually became a lawyer? But I don't think law is for me. I don't think emotionally I wouldn't be able to handle it. But in terms of like in terms of like strategic thinking, in terms of like intuition, in terms of like defensiveness and stuff like that, and like clocking people, that's something that like I would be a really good lawyer in that sense. But if we're talking like generally speaking, I wouldn't choose being a lawyer at all, you know? Um, even if I like, I don't know, I just don't think being a lawyer is for me. I just feel like I'm the type of person that like is so sensitive. So like I don't think I would be able to take that much because I absorb and I take people's feelings with me a lot. Um, you know what I mean? So like when people come to me with their problems or like or if someone says something or they're feeling upset about something, I kind of take that with me and I kind of think about it throughout the whole day. Because I'm so sensitive in that sense as well. So I don't think I'll be able to handle it, honestly speaking. I know that I will be able to handle everything because I've handled a lot worse, you know, and I've handled a lot of things, and I'm a very strong girl. And I'm so proud of myself for the things that I've experienced, especially the most difficult times. But at the same time, if I'm speaking honestly, I honestly don't think that being a lawyer is for me. I'm going in this whole explanation as if like someone paid me a million pounds to become a lawyer or to like make your decision now. Like chill out, babes. That's fine, it's fine. But anyways, no, like my family used to like always used to tell me this, and they still tell me because I'm the type of person that clocks someone. Like, don't say something if you can't back it up, or like the most like one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone lies. Like when someone lies about me or says I did something when I didn't, or like they lie about something that they did when they didn't do it, or they manipulate the situation, I will clock them and I'll bring them that evidence. And I'll be like, no, 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 you know? Um, so I've always been like defensive in that sense, but not in a way that is like emotional or like angry or like negative. I get defensive when it's important and when someone wrongs me or lies to me or lies, on my behalf, like lies about me, right? Or when it's something important. I get defensive in that way, but not in the defensive way of like, oh, getting angry and like screaming and stuff like that. I'm not that type of person. Unless it's like with a person that constantly does it to a point where it's like my emotions get the best of me. Obviously I'm a human, so obviously that does happen. But for the most part, I feel like especially with like people, I tend to be quite composed with like dealing with people and like having good communication skills as well. So I've always had a reason for like how I act. Like if someone points out to me like that I do something or that I did something, right? I did a certain action, I did something, I said something. I will back it up and I'll always have a reason for it. I don't do stuff without a reasoning. I'm not that type of person to just, treat someone coldly or treat someone away. Like I'm the type of person that mirrors people's energies. Like you treat me with disrespect or you are cold to me, I am cold to you. You disrespect me, I don't, I'm gonna distance myself from you. I don't disrespect you because when it comes to like negativity, when it comes to disrespect, when it comes to bashing people and name calling, that's something that I don't do. Or gossiping, I don't do that. Even if the other person does that to me, I don't stoop to that level because that's not in my nature, and I wouldn't want to be that type of person that is just bitter and negative. But if someone, for example, treats me in a way where it's like, oh, it's kind of cold, okay, I'll treat you cold as well. I mirror people's behaviors. So when people point out to me that like, oh, you've been acting cold towards me, oh, you've been distancing yourself from me, oh, I'm just giving examples. Oh, you said this or you did this. Um, it's literally because you did it to me first. For example, someone disrespects me, okay, fine. I'm gonna treat you with like coldness and I'm not gonna be very like open anymore and I'm just gonna like kind of distance myself and be civil. I'm just that type of person to just protect my peace, obviously. Or when someone does something, right? And then I do it to show them. And then they're acting hypocritical saying, oh, I don't like, why are you doing this? Or like, don't do this. But you do it. So how are you gonna get mad at me for doing something that you do when all I'm doing is mirroring that behavior? Don't do it in the first place if you can't take it from the other party. You know what I mean? It's the same way if like, don't like gossip about people, or don't spread hate if you can't take the heat yourself, or if you can't take it when someone defends themselves or comes back at you. And thank God I've reached that level of anything that anyone says about me, right? Negative, cruel, I don't know, disrespects me, lies on my name, says I'm this, that. I genuinely do not care, because there's no point. Because the thing is, when people have this fixed perception of you, there is nothing that you can do to change that. You cannot change people that have this fixed perception of you based on their fantasies and their delusional mind, right? That is something that you cannot control. And even if it's not true, even if these people are lying on your name, saying you're this, that you do this, there's no point defending that. There's no point proving it to that person, especially to that person, because you're proving it's like you're just talking to a wall at that point, right? It's like you're talking to yourself. It's like you're talking to an imaginary friend. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not there. Like, they can't register it in their brain because they're so close minded and they're so deaf. So anything that you say, it's like, you know, that just makes them more amplified. That just amplifies them to, you know, get more defensive as well and lie about you even more, and treat you badly even more. But at the same time, there's nothing you can do about that. If people say you're this and this and that, even when you're not, or even when it's absolutely like completely far from the truth, you know? And you're so confident in yourself that you're not like that. And even deep down, they know that you're not like that. But they obviously want to be in the victim in their head. They want you to be the villain. Some people genuinely live their fairy tales as them being the victim and you being the villain. You know what? If they see you as the villain, go ahead, be the villain. That's their story though. That was never fact. You know? That was their happily ever after. That's their make believe world, right? There's nothing you could do about that. You know, they're living in Neverland. Is it Netherland? I think it's Netherland, I think. No, Netherlands is a country, babes. It's Neverland. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I do this often. I say something and then I realize it's a mistake, or like I've said it wrong. And then I even clock myself. I clock other people and I clock myself, guys. See, I'm not just clocking my people. She's a self-aware girly, right? She has that awareness. She's accountable. Um so yeah, like let them live in that Neverland world, you know, Tinkerbell, Peter Pan, magical fairies, stuff like that. Harry Potter, you know, let them live that. And there's nothing like, the thing is, when you see these people, when you listen to what they say, when you listen to the absolute lies that they spew, the absolute horror that comes out of their mouths, there's nothing you can do but laugh because of how ridiculous it is, because of how far it is from the truth. Like, I feel bad for these people. The fact that their mindset is like that, the fact that they're so mentally ill, right? Like, you have to see these people as like disturbed patients. Like, genuinely, like, you have to see these people as like mentally not there, like mentally not ill. They're living in this like fantasy world, right? Full on maladaptive daydreaming in that, you know? Full on delusional, full on delulu, you know? We've got delulu people out here. Let them live in their delusions. And you live in the real world, right? You're the one that's thriving. They're the ones that are gonna realize it in the end before, or not realize it, and it's too late. You know, they realize that it was all a fantasy, and they've been living a victim their entire life. But who wants to be a victim, type of thing? You know what I mean? So I've reached that point of confidence where it's like, at this point, I don't even care. Say what you want about me, treat me whatever. Just, I don't care. I'll let these people do what they want, but I'm not in the picture. I'm not there. You know, I'm not in that in that area. I have my own bubble. I have this whole bubble protecting me. I don't need anyone to come and pop my bubble. I don't need that. I'm gonna let anyone in my bubble. You know? I have good people in my bubble. I don't need people that don't serve me. I don't need people that talk about me behind my back or to my face or say lies about me, or I don't know, just don't treat me with respect or the way that I deserve. Because I know how I am with people. I know how I am when I love someone. And I'm so loving and I'm so caring and I'm so understanding. Like, I would love to have a best friend like me, but thank God I already do. You know, I have loads of best friends like me. I have loads of people in my life that are like me. Like, I'm not saying this in an arrogant way, by all means. I'm saying, like, I have people that I actually aspire to be like as well, that actually grow me as well, you know, that treat me the same way that I treat them. Why would I lower my value for someone when I know how I am when I love someone? When I know how it feels to be valued? Why would I even look for people to value me if it comes naturally with the right people, with the right friends, with the right company? Because you don't need to push for it. You don't need to ask for it. You don't need to prove yourself to be valued, to be loved. Love should be unconditional, especially if you're someone that gives unconditional love and you're so respectful and kind and compassionate and understanding and empathetic. Why would you lower yourself to someone that doesn't even give you a quarter of that love, and their love is conditional, and they don't value the way that you deserve, they don't treat you the way that you deserve, they don't respect you the way that you should be respected. And it all starts with you. You have to respect yourself first. You have to love yourself first. You have to take care of yourself first, because you can't love someone if you don't love yourself. It can't even work. That, not even in a make-believe world, that works. That doesn't work. You know? You have to love yourself first. And that is not selfish. That is not arrogant. That is not conceited. It's not. It's the complete opposite of that, because you're actually being selfless if you think about it, because you're thinking about other people, right? You're thinking about how you treat other people. So you're going out of your way to treat yourself first, because you should be yourself should be your top priority, right? You're the only person that you've got. It's just you and you in the end, right? So when you take care of yourself, when you love yourself, when you develop that confidence, and I'm telling you, it comes with time. You can't just have confidence, you know, with a click of a button. It doesn't happen like that. You have to go through trial and error, through growing, through self-love, through affirmations, through healing yourself, through healing your inner child, through, you know, asking yourself shadow work questions, through reflection. It's such a long journey, but it's such a beautiful journey, because I've reached that point where I'm so confident in myself that I don't need anyone in my life. I'm so content with myself. Like, you know, anyone that comes in my life is just adding to my life. They're not taking anything away from me. They're just adding. They're just an additional, right? Because I'm already content with myself, but these people are just adding to my life, adding that extra positivity, adding that extra love, extra beam of sunshine, extra happiness, right? Extra, extra compassion, you know? Like, people are just additionals. You should just look at them as plus signs. They're just plus, plus, plus. They're adding to your life. They're not taking away from it. You shouldn't center, you know, people, people shouldn't be the center of your life. You should be the center of your life because it's your life at the end of the day. It's not her life. It's not, their life. So, yeah, you should always be the center of your life because that's how you can actually fully give people the attention that they deserve. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. That's when you can give people the attention they deserve, the love that they deserve. You can give them that unconditional love, because you respect yourself first, you love yourself first. You cannot love someone if you do not love yourself. It simply cannot happen. It simply cannot happen. So the most important thing is to own your words, own your worth. If you make a mistake, own it. Apologize. Take accountability. Don't run away from it because there's nothing more attractive, there's nothing more powerful and fierce than someone that admits when they do something wrong. It's so icky. I get such an ick when someone does something that is so out of line, right? So out of touch, and they don't take any accountability for it. Completely run away from it. Completely lack self-awareness. They have zero self-awareness, in fact. They just think that they're right, that they do no wrong, that they were created perfectly, that they do not make mistakes, they are perfection. Like, no. Chill out. You did a mistake? Own it. Say, yeah, I did a mistake. I apologize. I take full accountability for that. I take full responsibility for that. If you want people to respect you, you have to take responsibility for your actions, mistakes, and your actions. You have to take full accountability for it if you actually want people to respect you. If you want to be disrespected, go ahead. Say that you're the victim. Say that, oh, personally, I don't see that I didn't do anything wrong. Personally, I think you're crazy and you're so sensitive and you're dramatic and they're manipulating the situation. People are like this, are manipulators. Please run, run. Run as fast as you can away from these people. You don't want to be around people like that. You want to be people that are confident enough and that are secure enough within themselves and confident enough with themselves to admit when they do something wrong, because at the end of the day, who cares? The world didn't stop. The earth didn't stop rotating. The planets didn't stop orbiting around each other. The sun didn't stop rising or setting. Like, it's not that deep. And the more you can learn to accept your mistakes and your flaws, the more security that you have in yourself, the more confidence that you will have in yourself, the more respect that people will have for you, the more respect you will have for yourself. And the more assurance you will have of yourself as well. Because when you admit to your faults, no one can say anything to you. You say it before them. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I did this. Even if they forgot about it, even if they didn't realize, you're so accountable and so self-aware and confident and secure within yourself to the point where you even point out your faults because you don't even care if you're flawed. We are all flawed. It's the people that admit that they're flawed are the truly successful people in this life. So yeah, remember that what anyone says, if it's not true, it's not true. Let them live in that fantasy. There's nothing more strong, there's nothing more peaceful than knowing your truth. Let me tell you, there's nothing more peaceful than knowing your truth, because you are able to be secure within yourself, you can actually go to bed at night. Liars, manipulators, guilty people that play the victim card throughout their entire life, people that make excuses over everything, and are toxic people and narcissists, they cannot go to sleep at night. People that lie to themselves, that lie to the people around them, cannot go to sleep at night. They cannot even look themselves in the mirror. They cannot look in their own reflection because they hate themselves so much, because they're so two-faced. Their whole life is literally in a mask. Literally Joker behavior, literally clown behavior. Who would want to be with someone like that? Who would want to look at someone like that? Who would want to even sleep next to someone like that? Who would even want to have friends like someone like that? Because those people are absolutely insane. Those people are crazy, absolutely sick and twisted. Do not be like those people. Make sure to have so much confidence. No one can say anything to you. You always have a response for everything. You always have reasoning for everything that you do, everything that you say, every action that you take, every decision that you make. You don't need to prove that to anyone. The decisions that you make are based on what you know is best for you, and even if it's not the right decision, it's your decision. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take that. Nobody can take that decision for you. If people are so concerned with you making mistakes, if people are so concerned with you making a mistake and so scared of you making the wrong decision, even if it's not harming anyone or yourself, right? It's just like a decision that, as simple as, I don't know, choosing what to wear, right? As simple as that. If people are so scared about the decisions that you make in your life, or for example, I don't know, you choose, or you're comfortable with failure, and you're not scared to fail an exam, even if you studied, you put your blood, sweat and tears into it. Tell those people to go touch grass. Tell those people to literally get off of social media. Get off. Why do I keep saying get off? Get off of TikTok. Get off TikTok. Get off of social media. Go touch grass, please. Go roll yourself in a blanket into a burrito. Go run in the grass. Go roly-poly in the grass. I don't even know, guys. I don't even know. It's late. The analogies are not really making sense. I think go touch grass is the only one that actually makes sense. Genuinely, if people are so scared of you making a mistake or you doing something that could be a wrong decision, tell them to literally go touch grass, because how is it that they're more scared than you? That they're overly cautious about your own life? How does that make sense? Those people have no life, genuinely. Feel bad for them if they're so concerned with yours, with every single move, every single decision that you make. And they're so, their nose is so long to the point where their ancestry goes back to Pinocchio, and their I don't know what it's called. Oh my gosh. What is it called when you take that test? I forgot what the test's called. There's this test that people take to see what ethnicity they are, or different nationalities, percentage. I forgot what the test is called, but I think you guys know what you mean. Their nose is so long, so much into your business, that literally their genetics and their ancestry dial back to Pinocchio. and his ancestry. I've said that joke 2 times that it's not funny anymore. Is it funny? Please tell me if you laughed. I'm gonna. You know what? I laughed myself. So that's okay. It's okay to laugh at yourself, guys. That's another episode that I'll be making. It's okay to laugh at yourself. Does anyone else experience this? I think everyone else experiences this. This is not just, this is a universal thing, by the way. You know when it gets so late, or like you're so tired to the point where you don't even know what you're saying. Like I even go into delusional mode. I'm going delulu right now, literally as we speak. So if anyone could understand the gibberish that I said throughout the entire episode, you're a real one. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, well, most likely on YouTube because I've been slacking off and I haven't uploaded an episode on Spotify in a really long time, guys. Please, 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 please. I'm just a girl. Please, I'm only 18. I'm only 18. I'm just a baby. Wait, what's that meme that Millie Bobby Brown did? Oh gosh, I love her. She's so funny. Um, why are you doing this to me? I'm only 18. Guys, I'm only small. Please don't clock me. Yeah. I swear, if anyone says pick me because I said I'm so small, I was actually referencing Millie Bobby Brown when she was doing the hot ones. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? If anyone does, do you know the thrill that I experience when someone knows what I'm talking about? When I feel like that I'm actually going insane, but I know that I'm making sense. But it takes a level of brain rot and being so chronically online for someone to understand you. So it's like, I know there's people out there, and my friends are like this. So it's like, it's such a good feeling when you talk in absolute nonsense or you reference a meme, right? And then someone else gets it. It's such a good feeling. Specifically if they're from your same generation, because it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Twin, where have you been? You know what? I think I'm going to end this episode here before I go completely insane. I want to go slightly insane before I end this episode, because I don't want to frighten you guys. I don't want to traumatize you guys. So yeah, I hope this episode helped you in some way. If it did, great. If it didn't, great. Right? I'm gonna publish anyway. I'm gonna speak anyway, and give my insight anyway. So yeah, comments are open to anyone who wants to use it, and if you stayed this long after fully experiencing a quarter of my Delulu side, you're a real one, and I applaud you, and I give you a star. You are a G. You're amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. I greatly appreciate your stay tuned for my new episode. Bye.